No one in the room expected her to say it. The young maid, standing in her red uniform with trembling hands, looked directly at the wealthy violinist and said with a quiet voice, "Play the violin, and I'll marry you." The ballroom fell silent. People stared. Some laughed under their breath. A nobleman marry a maid? Over a violin performance. But what happened next changed more than one life. It changed an entire town. Before we begin, if you love stories that show the power of kindness, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment below. This is Kindness Action, and every story we share is meant to remind you that good still exists in the world, even when it feels impossible to find. Now, let's begin. The story takes place in a small American town in the early 1900s, back when people still wrote letters by hand, and a violin could charm an entire audience. The man's name was William. He wore tailored suits, spoke with grace, and came from money. He wasn't arrogant, but he did live in a world where nothing was denied to him. The young woman was named Clara. She worked as a maid in the estate where William performed. She made beds. She served dinners. She stayed in the background. Her life was small but peaceful. Except, her family was struggling. Her father had been injured in a factory accident. Her mother worked night shifts. Clara was their only steady support. She had no dreams of love. No time for it, really. But she loved music. Whenever William rehearsed in the grand hall, she would pause for just a moment and listen from behind the doorway. His violin felt like sunlight on a cold morning. One winter evening, William was invited to play at a luxurious party hosted by the town's wealthiest family. Their guests filled the ballroom in glittering gowns and polished shoes. Clara, like every servant, stood quietly along the walls. William played beautifully, but halfway through the performance, one of the guests, a proud, sharp-tongued banker, laughed loudly and said, "Oh, what's the point of all this music? Violin doesn't change anything. It's just fancy noise." The room went cold. William froze. No one defended him. They just watched, too polite, too unsure, too cowardly. And that's when Clara spoke. She stepped forward, voice steady but emotional, and said, "Music is not noise. Music can heal. Music can give hope. And if you think it means nothing, then prove it. Play the violin," she said, turning to William, "and I'll marry you." The room gasped. Someone whispered, "A maid. How dare she?" The banker scoffed. "See? Even the servants mock you." But Clara wasn't mocking anyone. She looked at William, and her voice softened. "My father used to play violin before his accident. He said music saved him from giving up on life. When you play, I remember that. I believe music is kindness. I believe kindness can save people." William didn't laugh. He didn't look insulted. Instead, he put the violin under his chin and began to play. Not a waltz. Not a piece for show. He played a quiet, trembling melody, the one his mother used to sing when he was a boy and felt lost. The one he never performed in public. Clara closed her eyes. And for a moment, the grand ballroom faded away. She saw her father. She saw all the people who worked too hard for too little. She saw her own tired hands and felt them warm with hope. When William finished, no one spoke for a long time. The banker looked uncomfortable. Another guest reached for a handkerchief. A few maids were crying silently. William put down the bow and walked toward Clara. Then something no one expected happened. He bowed to her. Not a playful bow. A respectful one. He said, "Thank you for reminding me why I play." He did not ask her to marry him. He didn't need to. But the next morning, Clara found a letter placed neatly on her folded apron. Inside was enough money to pay for her father's medical care. No signature. Only a note that said, "Kindness is music. You played it first." For weeks, rumors spread through town. People wondered, did William send the money? Did he care for Clara? Was it all just a story? No one knew for sure, until a year later. Clara's father recovered enough to walk again. Clara was able to quit the maid job and start a small community school where children could learn music for free. She used the violin her father once owned as a symbol of hope. One afternoon, while children practiced inside, William arrived quietly at the doorway holding a violin case. He wasn't wearing a fancy suit this time. Just a simple shirt and a shy smile. Clara stepped outside. He spoke softly. "You once said music can save people. I've been playing for the wrong reasons. I was playing to impress, not to heal. I want to change that." He opened the violin case. Inside was a second violin, a gift for the school. "I would like to help teach," he said. If you'll let me." Clara didn't blush or faint like in fairy tales. She simply smiled and said, "Only if you promise to play for them the way you played for me." He nodded. And just like that, they began building something far more important than romance. They built a place where kindness, in the form of music, could grow. Some say they eventually did marry. Some say they stayed lifelong friends. But everyone agrees on one thing. That moment in the ballroom, when a maid stood up for kindness, changed more than one life. It reminded every witness that we never know how far one brave act of kindness can go. So the next time someone mocks what matters to you, the next time you see someone standing alone, remember Clara. Speak up. Show kindness. You never know who might be listening or who might be saved by it. Because kindness, like music, doesn't just fill a room. It fills the heart. And if enough hearts change, the world will too.